So, lads, today we're going to be talking about the mock draft from ESPN, and we are going to be reacting to said mock draft in this video. So, obviously, guys, if you guys are new to the channel, it would be great if you guys could subscribe. Right now, we are at 8888 subscribers. If we could try to get that to like 900 by the end of the day, that would be insane. Like, the goal is going to be to pretty much get to 10k as quickly as humanly possible. Either way, we're going to be reacting today to the mock draft, and after Cooper Flagg's performance, I don't see how you can not have Cooper Flagg at number one. I was like, after the performance of the last 3 or 4 games, a couple of games ago, I'm like, look, Cooper's still number one, but the trajectory of Dylan Harper and means that you can suddenly like make a legitimate argument for Dylan Harper. For Ace Bailey, I don't take a guy him at number one, but I still don't hate Ace Bailey as much at 3 as I used to. But as of right now, the 1, 2, 3 coming into the season appear to still be the 1, 2, 3. And I don't see there being anything wrong with that. Like, I don't see there being any... Like, I know a lot of people are like looking for players and looking to change things up. I'm cool with that as the top 3 right now. So yeah, let's take a look at this. So we have got, from Jonathan Gavoni, he has got Cooper Flagg going number 1, which is fine. Honestly. He is the number 1. He was so damn good in the last couple of games. Wizards would be thrilled to add Flagg, forming a duo with Alex Sarr. I still think Alex Sarr might be one of the like most overrated rookies. I just think he's gotten a lot of burn. I don't understand how he's ahead in the Rookie of the Year race than Zach Edey, who's with better stats and a better team, or even Jalen Wells. Dylan Harper at 2, yeah, I'll say that. He's been unbelievable. He can do everything. He's a combo guard. I think that Dylan Harper is, no question about it, like a top tier player. And I think in a lot of drafts, he goes number 1. I genuinely do. He goes number 1 in an awful lot of drafts. And I do think it's just that Cooper Flagg's probably been that little bit just too good. Ace Bailey, Arius Bailey, that's a cool name. That's a really cool name. Says Utah will take a patient approach with his roster. I like Ace Bailey. Like, he's 6'10". He can shoot the lights out. He can't, like, really pass at all. And he can't dribble at all. But I do like Ace Bailey, though. I think Ace Bailey is definitely definitely an underrated player in a lot of ways. I thought he was overrated at one stage because I'm like, man, he can't really create a shot. But he just gets buckets, doesn't he? And look, he's somebody that I think if he does slide, if Rutgers start to go on a bit of a slide and Harper takes over, he might slide a little bit. He could be a guy that could be a great pickup on a slide. VJ Edgecombe at 4 is too high. That is too high for VJ Edgecombe. He's a good defender. He's a real good defender. He's a real good athlete. The problem is that he's just... I think the shooting's a bit of an issue. I think the shooting is genuinely a bit of an issue with VJ Edgecombe. I would be looking at like Yakushionis with that pick, because like you've got a true point guard then. You've got a 6'6" point guard here in Yakushionis who's 5. I don't see how he fits in beside LaMelo Ball either. Like, do you think he's going to be an off-the-ball player? I don't know. And look, I think with international prospects, I think you're going to see a lot more going over to America if they're looking to go to the NBA, because like Hugo Gonzalez was a better prospect than a Yakushionis. He was a better prospect than other than Nolan Traore, who's the best prospect. And I fully believe if you put Hugo Gonzalez or Nolan Traore, who are actually sliding, I think if you put them onto a college team, they would be shooting up draft boards. So I think it's an interesting one there. But he is a super point guard. He can shoot the 3. He can score, shooting 50% from the field. 16, 5, and 5 for a pretty good Illinois team. He's really good. Nolan Traore at 6. Like, to be fair, Gavoni is quite high on international players. I will always say that, like, because I've seen Nolan Traore drop out of the lottery in a lot of recent drafts. I don't he's been shooting really badly this year, and he's still a big enough point guard. He's still got a lot of things going for him. But for me, I'm like, I think it's hard to put Nolan Traore 6 when Ben Saraf's been better. Like, if I was taking a overseas point guard at 6, I would take Ben Saraf. It wouldn't be Nolan Traore. Con Knippel at 7, he shoots. Like, there's only so much when it comes to, like, 3-point shooting. Like, if you don't have it, like, you can only be so good without the 3-point shot. And he hasn't been shooting that well. He started off really well. That first game, he was class. He's had a few really cold games. But still, I'm not low on Con Knippel. I think 7 is just a bit high. Because there's, jeez, I've blinked in your man. The other freshman scorer is probably better. What's his name? Trey Johnson from Texas. I would take him, especially even if you're Portland, over a Con Knippel. But Edgar Demon playing beside De'Aaron, that's interesting. I think he's going to drop. I think he's going to slide. He's not shooting the best. I think he is an elite passer. He's 6'9", but I don't know how much he's going to be at the point guard. I don't know how he's going to score at the NBA level. I just don't. I think he's boom or bust. Like, I'm not that high on Edgar Demon, and which is obviously rare for me. If you guys know me, I'm normally really high on international players, but like, I wasn't that high on him when he was playing in Madrid. Like, I watched his like next generation team, and I thought Hugo Gonzalez was a better player. So I wasn't that high on Edgar Demon, but 8's not a bad spot for him. He's a 6'9" point guard. Jeremiah Fears going at 9. Okay. Like, do they take another like point guard after what's his name? Like, did they take another one after Reed Shepherd? Do they take another guy who is going to compete with Reed Shepherd? He's a little bit bigger, I guess. And I don't know. It just, I think the Houston Rockets are in a weird spot because they're going to get a lot of high picks. And the problem with the Houston Rockets is they're going to get those high picks, and they don't need those high picks. So I think this pick will end up being traded, but I don't hate Jeremiah Fears. I would rather, they don't need anything. Let's be real. The Houston Rockets don't actually need anything. So I don't even know what they're going to do. Trey Johnson, San Antonio. I mean, if you can get Trey Johnson, San Antonio, he's a bucket. The man is an absolute bucket. Can score from anywhere. I like Malawach even beside Wemby. Like, that becomes this. And I get it, Wemby's not I don't think Malawach's going to be NBA ready, but I also don't know how Wemby's going to play. Is Wemby's biggest asset the fact that he can play the 5 and he can spread the floor? But I think Malawach is going to be another one of these at 12. One of these Derek Lively type players where he just catches at the rim. Like, he's shooting 80% from the field. He is a freak of a freak athlete. I watched him play in the Olympics for South Sudan. He is a player I really like. And I think he needs to be in the right system. And I think the Detroit Pistons could be a right spot for him. The problem with Detroit is Malawach can probably not play with, what's his name? Jalen Duren. I think he can play beside Beef Stew, but I don't think he can play beside Jalen Duren. So if I'm the Pistons, I'm more so than anything I'm hoping Con Knippel's there if I'm the Pistons, because I think that's more so than anything what they need. They just need shooting at this stage. Ben Saraf, who is apparently from Germany, according to Gavoni. To be fair, like, Ulm is in Germany, but he's Israeli, isn't he? Like, I'm pretty sure he's from Israel. Yeah, so that is obviously Ben Saraf. I would take him as the number 1 overseas player. But what Ben Saraf's been doing this season in Euro Cup has been a lot better. Again, not shooting the greatest from threes, but I like Ben Saraf. I do like Ben Saraf. Hugo Gonzalez up at 13th. I don't think he's going to go this high. Like, he's not been bad. I mean that. Like, he's actually not been bad when he's been on the floor. He is a bucket, and he's not been bad for Real Madrid, who play in EuroLeague and the ACB. He is playing at a much higher level than any player in this draft. I get he's averaging 5 a game, but like, Luka's an anomaly. Like, Kristaps was playing ACB for a worse team than Real Madrid, averaging 4 points per game. But there's been a lot of guys, but then he gives me Hezonja vibes. And I think talent-wise, Hezonja was there. So I think even like, I don't hate, if you can get a Hezonja type talent into a system like Golden State at 13, I actually think that's a good pick, but he gives me Hezonja vibes a lot. Because I feel kind of the same way about Hugo Gonzalez as I felt about Hezonja coming out of Barcelona at the time. But I don't hate him at 13. The end of the lottery, Spurs getting Liam McNeely would be big. Spurs getting a sniper, great. Then let's see for the rest of it. So Drake Powell to the Spurs. I don't know. I don't know if you kind of maybe you want to go power forward if you're the Spurs. Derek Queen, like obviously they don't need Derek Queen. He's again one of the better centers. So like obviously I'm just gonna quickly go through the rest of the first round. Will Riley to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Like again, I'm not that high on a lot of these kind of picks. I don't rate Essengu that high either. Like as an overseas player, I think he's okay. He's been pretty decent for Ulm. But if he does, like he has a bit of potential. I don't mind the Jazz taking him at 18. Colin Murray Boyles. I think Colin Murray Boyles is going to be one of those guys that it's like, I just don't know if he can play. I think he's either going to be really good or out of the league in a year. Because he's a non-shooting 6'7" big man. Who plays with elite energy, can get boards, rebounds like heck. I think he could be really freaking good. It's going to be one of those things where it's like, in 2 years' time, we're like, why did everybody overthink this pick? Or why did anyone think this guy was a first rounder? It's going to go one of those two ways with Colin Murray Boyles. LeBron Fillon from Alabama. I've not watched that much of Alabama. Don't know that much about him. Danny Wolf from Michigan. I would take Asanul as the third big. Also, like, at 21, this is where I'm looking at, like, maybe taking a punt on Zakarski if you're the Dallas Mavericks. Like, if you're going to lose, like, with his athleticism, I know he's not doing much in the NBL right now, but with his athleticism and size and stuff, I would consider just taking him and hoping that you can do a Derek Lively on him, and just as a lob threat. He's, wow. I haven't watched much of Michigan. Some of these lower players I haven't seen much of. Apparently he's a pick and roll ball handler. Dear Lord, if he can do that, maybe. But you've got Asanul. I don't think Asanul's a bad player. Like, I think he's a decent guy. He has the ability to stretch the floor a little bit. He's big. If you're the Thunder, maybe you take him. Orlando Magic, I don't mind them going for an upperclassman. I really don't. And if they got two first round picks, wow. Ian Jackson for Denver. Alex Caravan. Again, I don't like the Nets taking upperclassmen, but I don't mind some of the other teams. Boogie Fland, best name in college or in this draft right now. But if the Memphis Grizzlies can get Boogie Fland and have him as like a third string point guard behind Scottie Pippen Jr. and Ja, and then eventually when they probably can't afford to keep Scottie Pippen Jr. anymore, you got Boogie Fland coming in to back up Ja. I think that's a really good pick there at 26. And now is there any other players that really interest me in the first round? I think Dink Pate will be fine. And the rest of the big board, you got Alex Toohey going early in the second round. I think he could be a good player. I think Cam Jones could be a pretty good player if you get him in the second round. I think Tyrese Proctor, if you can get him late in the second round, he could be good. Zakarski obviously is falling. I don't know how I feel about Ivicic. I really don't know. Wrong Ivicic. Sorry, the one Zvonimir Ivicic. I don't know how I feel about him, because he has a lot of potential. And also, if you're getting JT Toppin at 55, I think he could actually be a player. But yeah, that is pretty much it, lads. That is the reaction to the mock draft. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.